My name is Ben White. I would like to introduce you and invite you to A.D.A.M, a Bible study for men that's currently taking place at Wesley Freedom United Methodist Church in Eldersburg, Maryland on Tuesdays at 6 o'clock. We meet as a group of men and read the Bible each week, one chapter alternating between the Old and New Testaments. As we read the Bible, we look at what we read through the three tenets or assumptions we've laid out, which are: 1, that God is real; 2, that the Bible is telling the truth; and 3, that Jesus is who he says he is. Why these three tenets? Why these three assumptions? Because I want to know, is God really real? Most of the world out there today seems to think he isn't. Okay? Well, I want to know. Because if he is real, that means something. And if he's not real, that means something too. So I want to know. I have discovered what I know about God from reading this book called the Bible. So that begs the question, is the Bible telling the truth? This book, the Bible, is full of some weird stuff. It's crazy. There's people walking on water, and there's things coming out of the sky, and there's angels, and not to mention murder and pestilence and all kinds of craziness. So, is this a true story? Is it all true? Is part of it true? If part of it's true, how could we know which is true and which isn't true? Does that mean it all has to be true? These are questions we want answers to. And finally, Jesus is who he says he is. This guy, Jesus, appears to be the center of what this book is talking about. And this guy, Jesus, seems to have been sent here by God. Well, is that right? Jesus is outrageous in the things that he says. One way he's been characterized is that either he's the Lord, he's a liar, or he's a lunatic. Well, which one is it? To give you an example of what we do each week in our class, I've decided just to highlight some parts from chapter 20 in the book of Numbers. Numbers, it's a book in the Old Testament, way back, one of the first 5 books actually. And in chapter 20 is a story about a man named Moses who gets water out of a rock. Now in our class, when we read the Bible, we like to draw on the whiteboard because it helps us to make pictures of what we're talking about. I'm no Rembrandt, that's my Moses. And here's a rock. Okay. According to the story, and I'm just reading bits of the chapter, now there was no water for the community, and the people gathered in opposition to Moses and Aaron. Okay, we're talking about the Israelites. This was, 4,000 years ago? But we know the Israelites are a real people, and we're pretty sure that this guy Moses existed. So the Israelites start complaining to Moses that they don't have any water because they're wandering around in the desert. They say, "Why did you bring us up out of Egypt to this terrible place? It has no grain or figs, grapevines or pomegranates, and there's no water to drink." Moses and Aaron went from the assembly to the entrance to the tent of meeting and fell face down, and the glory of the Lord appeared to them. Okay? Well, the tent of meeting, to put it simply, was where they met God back then. So they went there, and they fell face down, and the glory of the Lord appeared to them. Well, what is the glory of the Lord? What does it look like? I'm not sure, but according to this book, this guy saw something that was the glory of the Lord. That's what this book says. And then, he doesn't just see something, it speaks. The Lord speaks. This says, okay, verse 7, the Lord says to Moses, "Take the staff, and you and your brother Aaron gather the assembly together. Speak to that rock before their eyes, and it will pour out its water." Okay, so Moses gets a staff. He has a staff in his hand. And according to what he heard from what this book says is God, he's supposed to speak to this rock, and water comes out. Now, Moses doesn't talk to the rock. He actually taps it with the stick. But water does come out of the rock, according to the story. Is this true? Did that really happen? And if it did, what does that mean about this glorious thing that the book is calling God? On top of that, we can't forget Jesus. In the New Testament, this guy Jesus tells us a story about a man who builds his house on a rock. And in that story, Jesus is saying that he's the rock. There's another story in the New Testament where Jesus is talking to a woman and says that he is living water. Water coming out of a rock. Does that tie back into this story somehow? In Romans, a guy named Paul also says that Jesus is a rock, the rock. So, was Paul thinking about this story in the Old Testament when he was talking about Jesus in the New Testament? And is Jesus, well, what does Jesus mean, living water in a rock? What's that all about? This is what we do in class, and we have a lot of fun doing it. We enjoy it. You don't need a biblical education. You don't need to know where numbers is. You don't even need to have a Bible. Just come to class. We'll provide that stuff for you. And you can join us in challenging these assumptions. Learn for yourself. Does this make sense? Is it true? We'd love to have you. Look forward to seeing you.